What's up, everybody? My name is Nancy Tiscareno. I am the Super Bond Girl, and today I'm wearing a t-shirt with the Union Jack to thank my viewers in the United Kingdom. I am going to be making a double-sided fleece blanket with this really awesome material since I love pink. I have here two fleece panels measuring 1.5 yards or 152 centimeters. I'm going to start by putting both panels facing the right way and sewing them around as if they were a pillowcase. I just finished pinning right now both panels facing the right side. As you might be able to tell right here, this is the back of the green material and this is the back of the pink material. I went all around both panels and I left a little corner here where I'm going to be able to flip the material inside out. If you happen to have extra material from the corners, just trim it, cut it just a little bit, and that way you don't have extra material once you end up switching it up inside out. Now that I have the material ready to go, it's already pinned, I have the machine also ready to go. Try to pick a stitch that is between 3 and 4, because if you pick something that is a stitch that is going to be between 1 and 2, it's too tiny and it could rip the material. I'm going to bring the foot down for the sewing machine, and as you might be able to tell right here, the sewing machine has measurements. This is what I'm going to use as a guide to keep throughout the blanket when I'm sewing it. Always go back a little bit on the sewing machine. That way it makes sure that this thread and the stitch is going to hold. Now once you get to the corner of the blanket, make sure to leave the needle in, pick up the foot, switch the material, and then go back down with the foot. That way you don't lose the side of the material, you don't lose already what you have pinned. Okay, now that I'm done finishing sewing all throughout the blanket, I left an opening, a small opening on the side, so I can flip the material inside out. Okay, now that you can see right here, I have an opening. I am gonna go and obviously I sew the material already on the opposite side. I'm gonna go in the corner and pull the material inside out. And like I said, it was going to be as a blanket and like a pillowcase. I'm just going to sew it like a pillowcase, and now I'm going to just come back and have both sides facing the right way. The strawberries are matching the backing, which is the hot pink material, both fleece material. And once again, I used 1.5 yards or 152 centimeters. So here is the blanket, and here's the back of it. What I'm going to be doing now is get the opening that I left here. I'm going to go and pin it inside out. I'm going to go and pin it in the corners. And then I'm gonna go one more time around the blanket, sewing the corner. So it's like a double stitch. That way it will be a lot easier. So when you wash this in the washing machine, or even if you have to wash it by hand, it's not gonna come apart. The material, the blanket will stay the same. And later on, I'm also going to be sewing a few of the strawberries together with the material. So even if you have to put it in the dryer and the washer, it won't come separated because it's already going to be all together. It's a very simple process. It's just, you know, being able to use the sewing machine properly. Now that I finished pinning the opening of the blanket, I'm going to start pinning the outside of the blanket so I can have a very sturdy stitch. Now that I finished pinning the blanket all throughout, I'm going to put the last stitch on the blanket. Okay, now I finished putting it in. I'm going to put the foot, and I'm going to continue measuring the corner with the measurements right here. That would be basically my guide. So I would like to point out right now that by making the second stitch going over to the blanket, it gave that already at the blanket a different look. It gave it more of a nicer look than if you wouldn't have done it. Okay, now I'm finished sewing the outer corners of the blanket. As you might be able to tell now, the blanket not only is thick, but it has a better look to it. What I'm going to be doing now is pin a few of the strawberries and go around the shape of them, just maybe about 3 or 4. So when you decide to put this blanket in the washing machine, the material will not come apart. It will stay together. Because right now if we wash the material, this is what's going to happen. To avoid that, most likely I'm going to be maybe about 5 strawberries. I'm going to be pinning them all around, and then I'm going to go sew them together on top of this material, so therefore will not separate. I'm ready to sew around the strawberry. This is probably the hardest part of making the blanket because I'm going to have to be moving the material all throughout and turn it, and sometimes it gets kind of bulky. So this is what I'm going to be doing at this point. You don't have to do it too fast. Where basically this is just going to be for the material to stay in case you're going to put it on a washing machine. That way the material don't come apart and the blanket continues to have the same shape. This area right here is probably where the leaves are. It's going to have pink thread for just a little bit. But as you might be able to see, you've got to play with the material and turn it and move it around. And I'm going to just cut across on this one. You don't have to do the whole strawberry around. I'm probably just going to do about 5 on the blanket. Like I said, this is probably the hardest part of making this blanket. Just because it takes a little longer and you gotta be moving the material around. That's it. I finished sewing a few of the strawberries on the blanket already. I wanted to make sure that the material was going to stay together, even if you're going to wash it in this washing machine, it's not going to come apart. They're not going to come separated, both panels. The material is very thick at this point, and like I said in the beginning, it was going to be a double-sided matching color double-sided blanket. This could be a gift for a child, for a girl, for a baby. You can use it to go to the park, and you know, it came out really nice. I'm sure any little girl would love to have something like this. So once again, my name is Nancy Tiscareno. I am the Super Ball Girl. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you around.